to this special edition of the KJ Masterclass. We have Supreme Court Senior Advocate Mr. Vivek Sood, the man who coined the expression, the fundamental right to internet. As we have been discussing about different chapters in his upcoming book, Progress of Indian Economy, Legislative Pro Activism Since 2015, that's been published by Thomson Reuters and is expected to come out in March. So we are taking one chapter at a time. So this is the second chapter we are taking on Commercial Courts Act. And he will talk about how this particular act has ushered economic justice into the Indian legal system and obviously into the economy itself. So welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this platform. And it's wonderful to interact with you.
Thank you very much, sir. So I will start by asking what exactly are commercial courts and what was the state of the commercial litigation prior to 2015?
Prior to 2015, we knew only of two types of justice systems: the criminal justice system and the civil justice system. So apart from the criminal offenses, all other disputes were bundled in one category called the civil justice system. We did not have a commercial justice system in India prior to 2015, meaning thereby commercial disputes would be treated like all other civil disputes. So, a contract between a foreign company and an Indian company, or a trademark dispute between two companies having far-reaching implications, would be treated like a landlord-tenant dispute in the Indian civil justice system. Now, this scenario led to loss of confidence in the commercial world, in the legal system. Especially, the foreign investors became wary of investing in India because they felt that contract enforcement was very slow in India. And therefore, India did not have the ease of doing business. I started my practice in 1992. So I have seen commercial disputes take up to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, even half a century, for being adjudicated in the civil courts in India. Now, by civil courts, I don't mean only the district courts. The high courts are also included. It took up to half a century for disputes to be adjudicated in the Indian civil justice system. This is where we were in 2015. And you have these World Bank reports, you have several reports in which it was stated that the civil justice system in India is very, very slow. It moves at a snail's pace. It is very tardy. And therefore, reforms were imperatively necessary. Now, this government of India swung into action, and the parliament brought about a game-changing legislation called the Commercial Courts Act of 2015. So today, commercial disputes have been segregated as a separate class from the other civil disputes. So today, we can say we have a commercial justice system also alongside the criminal justice system and the civil justice system. So, this was the scenario in 2015 till the Commercial Courts Act 2015 came into play. So, in my view, it's a game-changing legislation that revolutionizes the Indian economy.
Right, sir. जनरल व्यूअर्स के लिए सर, ऐसे तो हर किसी को पता है डिस्प्यूट क्या होता है, बट कमर्शियल डिस्प्यूट वो कैसे समझे कि ये हमारे लिए कमर्शियल डिस्प्यूट है और सिविल डिस्प्यूट नहीं है? जस्ट एक जनरल सेंस क्या होता है लीगली, क्या अमाउंट है, कहाँ क्या इन्वॉल्वमेंट होती है?
Commercial disputes को डिफाइन किया है कमर्शियल कोर्ट्स एक्ट 2015 में, कि जो डेफिनेशन है कमर्शियल डिस्प्यूट की बहुत ही ब्रॉड है।
राइट।
तो इंटेंशन, लेजिस्लेटिव इंटेंशन ये है कि मैक्सिमम डिस्प्यूट्स कमर्शियल डिस्प्यूट्स की कैटेगरी में आ जाएं और उनको सेपरेटली डील विद किया जाए। तो जितने डिस्प्यूट्स जिनमें कमर्शियल एलिमेंट है, जिसमें बिजनेस एलिमेंट है, जिसमें कोई एग्रीमेंट इन्वॉल्व है, जिसमें कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इन्वॉल्व है, कोई पैसे का लेन देन है, कोई ट्रेडमार्क रिलेटेड डिस्प्यूट्स है, टेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड डिस्प्यूट्स है, जितने भी कमर्शियल डिस्प्यूट्स है अंडर द कमर्शियल कोर्ट्स एक्ट ऑफ 2015, so that they are treated as a separate class of disputes other than the typical property civil disputes between landlord and tenants, etc., etc.
So are there such cases where there is an overlap of, choices that one can go to a commercial court, one can go to a civil court, or even the matter falls under, say, consumer protection laws and all?
So there is no choice. There is, even if there is some overlapping, still it is a mandate. It is mandatory that the dispute will be adjudicated only by the commercial courts. And commercial courts are not different courts. Commercial courts have been carved out. Certain judges have been allocated in the existing system with the duty to adjudicate commercial disputes. Now, insofar as consumer disputes are concerned, there may be a choice for the consumer, whether he goes to the consumer court or whether he comes to the civil court. And there are so many parameters to classify which disputes can be decided by the consumer courts and which disputes cannot be decided by the consumer courts. For example, where a case involves leading of oral evidence, cross-examination, examination of witnesses, consumer courts will not go into serious disputed questions of facts and evidence.
How do these commercial courts function actually? Do they function like other courts, or they have a separate way of functioning?
They have a separate way of functioning, and that is why I say that the Commercial Courts Act of 2015 is a game-changing legislation. And I must kudos to the Parliament, kudos to the Government of India for bringing in this revolutionary legislation called the Commercial Courts Act of 2015. Now, as I said earlier, commercial courts are not distinct courts. You don't have different court complexes. No, within the existing legal system, certain judges in the district courts as well as in the high courts have been designated as commercial courts.
Right.
They follow a different procedure altogether. Now that procedure is laid down in the Commercial Courts Act of 2015. And the procedure is totally different when you compare it with the adjudication of the normal civil disputes, the normal landlord-tenant disputes, etc., etc. And I must give you some highlights as to what is that distinction. What are the distinguishing features of commercial courts vis-a-vis the traditional civil courts? First of all, the Commercial Courts Act, it bars interlocutory challenges. Now, I must elaborate on this.
Please.
In a civil dispute, there are so many minor issues. So many applications are filed, and they are called interlocutory applications. IAs. These interim applications would consume years and years, even decades, and the main dispute would get lost in the maze of these interlocutory applications. and interlocutory challenges. Court ne chala gaya, division bench mein gaya, Supreme Court mein gaya. So the Commercial Court Act says that there shall be no interlocutory challenges. Court mein, at the end of it, when the judgment is passed, you can challenge all those interlocutory orders in one shot when you are challenging the main judgment.
Right.
Then you have the concept of pre-institution mediation. Now that's very important. Before the case is instituted in the commercial courts, a compulsory, a mandatory mediation hogi between the parties, and where the mediator will try and resolve the dispute amicably. Now that's a very important feature of the Commercial Courts Act. Thirdly, there is a respite for pending cases. Now, the legislation says that even pending cases which assume the character of a commercial dispute shall be transferred to the commercial courts. Another very important feature which I must share with all the viewers is that for frivolous litigation, for flimsy litigation, for false litigation, exemplary cost will be imposed on the party. It means heavy cost, exemplary compensation will be payable to the victim of frivolous, flimsy, false litigation. Then you have the concept of a summary judgment. हर केस में ओरल एविडेंस नहीं होगा, हर केस में गवाह नहीं आएंगे कमर्शियल कोर्ट में, हर केस में क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन की कोई जरूरत नहीं होगी. So wherever the courts feel that the case can be decided purely on documents, purely on correspondence through email or otherwise, the courts will say there is no necessity of any oral evidence. Based on the documents and arguments, I shall decide this commercial dispute. Then the fifth and the final important feature is that a lot of time was consumed in the minor procedural aspects of a civil suit. Now, timelines have been put in place. Strict timelines have been put in place to comply and to complete with the procedural aspects so that we get on to decide the main dispute. So these are some of the salient features of the Commercial Courts Act of 2015, which I repeat is a game-changing legislation which changes the landscape of the commercial world in India.
Very well, sir. You have explained all the salient features of the courts, of the changes law has brought in terms of things on the ground. What changes have you seen in the practical sense?
In this chapter, I have given instances of how commercial disputes took years and decades prior to 2015. I have given specific instances. I have given case studies as to how commercial disputes were being decided in reality, in practice, in the courts prior to 2015. I have picked up instances, real life instances, and I have given those instances in this chapter. And, with the dates, and I was myself surprised to see some of those years, where it took half a century for a civil suit, a commercial dispute to be decided in the court. So it was an eye-opener for me also. So I have given those instances, and then in the latter part of the chapter, I have delineated, I have taken instances from the post-2015 scenario.
Right.
And the winds of change are apparent. The revolutionary shift in how these disputes, how these commercial disputes were being decided prior to 2015 and how they are being decided post the Commercial Courts Act. It's an eye-opener. what took 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or half a century is taking months, or maybe 1 year, or maybe 2 years, or maximum 3 years. So from decades, we have come down to maximum 3 years, which I can see, and which I have delineated in this chapter of my book.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that's a great thing for the economy, because now corporates and people who need to go for contracts, for commercial contracts, for businesses, they would not hesitate like they would in earlier cases. Now they know that resolution is not very far off if they want to have, if they come to some sort of a dispute at any point in time. So very quickly, if you can tell us, do you think that there is still more that can be done in terms of this particular act? Some of the things that may have been left inadvertently, which needs to be corrected, and things which need to be added.
Economic legislations are experimental in nature.
Right.
So, the Supreme Court has time and again held that when it comes to economic legislations, the Parliament must be given free play in the joints. The legislature must be given freedom to experiment. So these are all experiments. I would not say that Commercial Courts Act 2015, is a perfect legislation. Time will tell. It is an excellent piece of legislation, but having said that, there is always scope for improvement. There is nothing called a perfect state. Nobody is perfect. No situation is perfect. So I see reforms coming in the future. Now, some of the areas which I would like to highlight, which call for reform. We need more judges. See, unless you have more judges, more courts, merely having a law in place may not actually resolve the problem. If you have 5 commercial courts, but you have 5,000 commercial disputes, it is impossible for those 5 commercial courts to adjudicate those disputes within a certain time frame. So we need more judges and more courts to be designated as commercial courts. Secondly, I feel that the enforcement of the civil decree, the commercial decree, commercial judgment, that's one area, where we need constant reforms. We need radical reforms, because I have seen in my career, spanning 30 years, 3 decades now, people get a civil decree from the court after fighting hard for years in the civil court. But that's a paper decree. It cannot be executed, because by that time, the defendant has siphoned away his property, has misappropriated his property, has laundered away his assets, so that, the decree holder, the winner of the litigation, only has a piece of paper, and he says, this is a decree, a judgment I have in my hand. But what is good of a judgment which cannot be executed practically? Suppose I win a litigation, but if I am not able to get the fruits of that litigation, what is good of that litigation? So we need reforms, some radical reforms in the area of execution of judgments and decrees.
Right, sir. Right. Very well put, very well explained. And for the general viewers also, there is a lot to understand from the way you have put things for each one, even for a lay person. So on this note, sir, it's a wrap on this special edition of the KAJ Masterclass. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's always very enjoyable to interact with you. And thank you for inviting me on this platform.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.